Hey everybody, welcome back to Anxiety City. This is part 3 of the top 10 lies your anxiety is telling you right now. And if you didn't see the first 2 episodes, no problem, we can just recap now. Basically, your anxiety is lying to you. It's telling you you don't have anxiety. It's telling you that this feels so bad it can't possibly be just stress, just anxiety. It must be a medical condition or insanity or something more serious. But the truth is that anxiety, or stress response hyperstimulation, elevated stress, is so powerful that it can make you feel as bad as this without actually killing you. That's how powerful your stress response hyperstimulation is. It can make you feel like you're having a heart attack, like you're having a stroke, a seizure. It can make you feel like you're going to die without having the common courtesy of actually killing you. Yeah, no one ever died from anxiety. So what you then have to do is you then have to go through the bewildering indignity of being told there is nothing wrong with you, that you're in absolute perfect physical health, and it's just stress. And you're thinking, my God, I can't possibly be feeling so bad just down to stress. And the truth is that you can. Your anxiety is also trying to convince you that you're not safe. But remember that that's its job. Its only job is to protect you, to convince you that you're not safe and you need to flee or fight. Anxiety is a lot like CNN rolling news, okay? 24/7, threat level elevating, danger, danger, you're fucked, the future's shit, you're all fucked. That's basically what anxiety is doing. That's its only function. And it does a marvelous job, like CNN. And the top story tonight on your anxiety rolling news is you have symptoms, you have sensations, and that's the danger. But the truth is, every single one of your sensations and symptoms is temporary and harmless. They're all quite harmless. Even something like derealization, which is fucking horrible, is still harmless and absolutely temporary. And yet you'll still believe it when your anxiety tries to tell you that you're the worst case. As if. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's anxiety is unique to them. And everybody with anxiety is suffering, okay? You think you're the worst case because you're suffering. I get it. Believe me, I don't want your anxiety, and you don't want mine. We're all suffering. It doesn't mean that anybody is worse or better than anybody else. Everybody's suffering. But it also doesn't mean that you can't recover. And your anxiety is really trying to get you to buy into that one. And I hate to say it, but another reason you think you won't recover is there are people on the internet who've recovered in 3 months, in 2 months, you know. And I have to say that most people, the majority of people, don't even see results in that time, let alone recover fully. So don't fall into the trap of thinking, well, I'm doing the same thing this guy's doing, but he's recovered, and what the hell am I doing wrong? Maybe it's not going to work for me, or I'm the worst case, or I'm different, or blah, blah, blah. Just understand that it's different bodies, and the majority of people take a lot longer. This process takes a lot longer than we think. You know, Jim Folk said some people can work this for 5 months and have great results. Others can work this for 5 years and have mediocre results. You know, but just trust the process. Have faith in those who've gone before you, and know that you will recover in your body's own time. I don't know if you're religious. I mean, I'm not really, but I'm on God's time. I'm not on Steve's time. I'm on God's time. This process, it's a journey, and it cannot be rushed. You cannot rush this process, but you will recover. Which is why line number 8, it's never going to end, is absolute bollocks. You know it's going to end. Like everything else, it does end. It's with you for a season, and then it ends and you get on with your life. Jim Folk described recovery as like waking up from a bad dream. Waking up from a bad dream real slow. And I like to think of it as like a roller coaster. Or you remember the ghost train when you were a kid? Really, really frightening, and you think it's never going to end. But it does end. and you get on with your life. The human body is just so uniquely designed to heal itself. And that's exactly what your body does. It heals itself as long as you get out of the way of your own recovery. Calm everything down, slow everything down, bring that energy right down. Get out of the way of your body's recovery, and it will recover in time. And all the changes that you make while this is with you during this time are so significant, so beneficial, and so worth it and so good for you that it kind of makes line number 9 kind of true, really. So the next time your anxiety tells you your life is over, agree. Just say, I know. That life is well and truly over. And you know what? Good. I'm well out of that life. That's the life that brought me into Anxiety City in the first place. That living like that is what got me into an anxiety disorder in the first place. You know, fuck that noise. The way I was living a year ago, this time last year, strongman training every single day. I never let up. I never gave my body a single day off, ever. 7 filter coffees a day, 10 pots of tea a day, burning the candle at both ends, never sleeping, staying up till all hours playing video games, just not to mention getting angry and worked up about everything, stressing out, worrying about absolutely everything, role-playing other people's emotions, giving a shit when it wasn't my business to give a shit, getting involved in everybody else's dramas. It's almost like if worry and anger and stress were Olympic events. It was like I was in training. You know, it was what my life was just all about. Worry and anger and stress. And where did it get me? It got me here in Anxiety City. So the next time my anxiety tells me your life is over, I say, you bet it is. You bet that life is over. I ain't never going back to that life. Never again. And I can't wait to see what's in store in the future. When my friend texted me, she said, it's a journey. It's a very hard journey, but it's worth it. Recovery is worth it. And that is it. We've come to the end of the list. I'm going to finish with my all-time favorite, I think, and that is anxiety is an it, or a monster, or some kind of outside force or something. No, it's not. Anxiety is not something that's happening to you. Anxiety is something that you are doing. It's the result of anxious behaviors. Anxiety doesn't fall out of the sky and sort of, land on you. It's something that we are doing. It's a habit. It's a habit of worrying, stressing the body, manifesting symptoms, worrying over that, seeing the symptoms as the danger. And then we stress about the worry and keep the whole thing going in a vicious cycle of worry and stress. But you see, anxiety is not the cause of anything. Anxiety is a result. So all the symptoms and sensations you're getting are the result, not the cause. They are the result of anxious behaviors. So if you don't want that result, then don't do the cause. Yeah. So if you don't want the anxiety, then don't do the anxious behaviors. And very much easier said than done. I know. But like I was saying in line number 9, it's about making changes to your lifestyle, but changes that are long-lasting and meaningful changes. Because, I was thinking about this today. If your anxiety was taken from you tonight and you woke up tomorrow morning without anxiety, how would you know? How would you know? Because if you're anything like me, you'll wake up tomorrow morning and you'll go, shit, is it still there? Is it still there? And you'll worry about what's going to happen during the day and what you're going to have to go through and put up with. And if your anxiety was lifted tonight, by lunchtime tomorrow, you will have worried yourself back into Anxiety City again. See, that's why these changes have to be made gradually, and that's why it takes such a long time for these changes to be implemented and to cause the healing process to really get going. The American Council on Sports Medicine did a survey a few years ago on people who'd had liposuction, and they wanted to find out how many people interviewed would keep the weight off, and they assumed that most people would. What they found out was that within a year, almost 100% of all those interviewed had not only regained the weight, but had also put more on. And they found that this was because none of them had made any lifestyle changes. You know, they weren't exercising, they still had poor dietary choices, and so their lifestyle choices really supported being fat, you know. And it's exactly the same with us. You see, there are no quick fixes with anxiety. There's no liposuction with anxiety. There are no magic bullets, no magic wands. There's just this one process of gradual, very slow desensitization. And unless we make these behavioral changes, we're not really giving our nervous system a chance to settle down. So we need to start making long-lasting lifestyle changes to support a healthy nervous system, one that is not firing off symptoms and sensations every 2 seconds. And I'm going to close tonight by addressing one of those behaviors that helps keep people stuck in anxiety city far longer than they need to be. And that behavior is despair. Now, despair is what Dr. Claire Weekes described as the most expensive emotion after fear. See, most people are afraid of their condition, especially early on in recovery. And fair enough, it's very, very frightening. But she does advise guarding against despair and self-pity as much as possible because it saps your energy. And recovery from anxiety disorder does take a lot of energy. Now, this is not a lie that your anxiety is telling you. This is more like a question you're asking yourself. Maybe you're asking yourself this very question right now. And the question is, why me? Why me? Well, let's talk about that. I don't know anyone in my circle of family or friends with anxiety. I've never met anybody with an anxiety disorder, ever. So why me? Well, why not you? If you were picked, if you were chosen for this challenge, then you're obviously strong enough to deal with it. You're obviously brave enough to handle it. And the very fact that you're watching this video means that you're resourceful enough to handle this challenge. And please remember that this is temporary. All of this is temporary. This is a ghost train. It's a roller coaster ride, and it does end. And remember that you're stronger and braver than you think. And maybe one day, who knows, you will find out why you were chosen for this particular challenge. Jim Folk certainly did. See, Jim Folk is amazing. He suffered for 12 years, and I know that he asked himself, why me, many, many times during those long 12 years. But he's been anxiety-free now since the 1980s, and since then, he's dedicated his life to helping people like you and me recover from anxiety disorder. And he's helped thousands of people recover. So the next time you ask yourself, why me, just think about Jim Folk. And who knows, maybe one day you will be a blessing to someone else who's suffering in this way. And with that, I'll say good night and God bless from Anxiety City. Thank you very much for joining me again. Ride out the storm until next time, and in the words of Dr. Claire Weekes, look ahead to the peace of recovery and let time carry you there. Bye for now.